Today on Around Kansas, Deb congratulates the 2020 National Teacher of the Year, and yes, she is from Kansas. Next in our wildlife segment, we get a bird's eye view of Logan County from Nick Abt. On the Front Porch, Angie Towes visits with Michala Gibson, Ron Wilson is on a horse holiday, and we end with the story through the eyes of Michelle Martin as a Cygne Massacre widow.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Deb Goodrich. Welcome to Around Kansas. And first of all, this morning, I would like to give a shout out to the National Teacher of the Year, Tabitha Rossproy from Winfield. She is a preschool teacher. For the first time in 60 years, the National Teacher of the Year is a Kansan. And furthermore, she is the first preschool teacher to receive this honor. She has a very unique classroom. Her preschool is in a nursing home, retirement home. I'm not sure which is the appropriate term. So she's got the wee little people and the little old people. And what an incredible combination. And God bless her. What a phenomenal idea. And she said in an interview that she is really looking forward to collaborating with other teachers in Kansas and around the country to use those same teaching tools. And I just can't think of anything more amazing. That is just absolutely awesome. All righty. Lots of things are opening up, so that's some very good news, and a couple of places near and dear to my heart that are opening up. The Combat Air Museum is open, so you go by and tell those hardworking boys that Deb sent you. That is an amazing museum. The countless hours of volunteer time and expertise that go into making that place work is absolutely staggering. And not only is there expertise, but these guys love it so very much. And they love it when you come. So you go to the Combat Air Museum and you tell them Deb sent you. They got a great gift shop too. Amazing gift shop. And check the Facebook, social media, or give folks a call. Because a lot of people that are opening up, of course, won't be having their regular long hours. It's going to be shorter hours for a while. So you better check. Same with the Fort Bissell Museum in Phillipsburg. I love that ride. Highway 36 is so pretty. And talk about flat Kansas. No, that's what the road does up there on Highway 36. A beautiful ribbon of a road across the northern tier of the state. And Phillipsburg is just one of the prettiest towns. And this museum complex is amazing. It's not just one little building. It's a complex, and again, volunteers, staff, amazing folks. So I was really glad to see that they opened. Will be a little while before Fort Wallace is open, but if you watch our Facebook page, I think I'm going to continue to share some tours around the museum. So that's something to look forward to. So let us know what your news is. Let us know if you're open or if you're doing something special. Again, keep following the Sternberg. They provided us with some wonderful videos, and what a great staff, and they've really kept the public involved with their Facebook feeds while they've been closed. So a lot of good things going on. Keep that in mind. One of them is today's show. Got a great show. Stay with us.
In 1821, a trade route was opened from Missouri in the United States across prairies and mountains to Mexico. In 2021, we will mark 200 years of epic conflicts and grand adventures, larger-than-life personalities, and sweeping landscapes. Join us on an historic journey. The Santa Fe Trail lives on.
Find us on social media or santafetrail.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff, like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agamandkansas.com.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Cygne, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but yet we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have.
This segment brought to you by the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center in Oakley.
Well, Jake and I were at Orscheln's the other day picking up feed, cat food, grain for the horses, and I picked up this little raptor brochure. This is laminated pocket guide to raptors. This is so cool, and they've got all kinds of different subjects. So great things to throw in the car while you're exploring. Ask the kids if they can find these things. One of the really cool things about this guide, it has the bird in different stages. Like an eagle does not look the same at 1 year or 4 or 5 years. So it's really awesome. A great educational tool. So our wildlife segment today is once again from Nick Abt. And God bless you, Nick. This is all around Logan County where I get to live. Is this not cool? And I want to see video from other parts of the state. We may be a little prejudiced because we live in a pretty amazing geography, but there's amazing geography everywhere. Love to see some stuff on the Meredithine, Kerwin, way up in northeastern Kansas. So, no matter what part of Kansas you are, no matter where you are around Kansas, there's some amazing scenery. So share that with us. In the meantime, let's take a bird's eye view of Logan County. Nick Abt.
Welcome to the Western Kansas Wildlife Travel Center, right here in my hometown of Oakley, Kansas. We're the front door of Western Kansas, located on 3 main highways, I-70, US 83, and US 40. And all those roads lead to history, beautiful scenery, and adventure, no matter which direction you go. We now have an IHOP. That brand that you've trusted up and down the road in all your travels is staffed with local folks, real people, just like you and me, and we're waiting on you to join us. So for fun, adventure, fuel up, fuel your body, and let's have some fun. Highways 40, 83, and I-70 come together right here in Oakley. Roads that lead to businesses, to magnificent rock formations, to scenic vistas, to places where legends were made. Roads that lead us home. Discover Oakley, the gateway to Western Kansas.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
This segment brought to you by Bob Schwartz Financial. Values, commitment, transparency.
Michala Gibson is a registered nurse with 20-plus years experience, including senior care. Michala and her sister-in-law have started 2 group homes called Prairie Elder Care, where people with dementia are living a life that plays to each resident's strengths. Let's talk a little bit about dementia itself and why it's so important to have those continual connections.
Well, we have based our approach around community, connection, and control. And with dementia, the biggest thing is that feeling of loss of control. So their brain is deteriorating, and they aren't able to make things happen the way they want to. And then when you have somebody that's trying to make you do things on their schedule, that just makes them feel even more out of control. And so we really work to try to give the residents control. So whether it's something small like what time they want to get up, or what they want for breakfast. You know, it's the little things, you know, when they want their shower. It's those little things that make a huge difference. So that's what we focus on. So if they feel like they're in control and they're not having this anxiety and agitation because of that, then they're able to make connections, whether it's with the caregiver or their families when they're there, or animals. We have a lot of animal involvement at our farmstead, music, you know, just all sorts of ways that people can feel connected.
Now let's talk about the two houses specifically, because they're slightly different in how they're set up. So
Right.
Can you explain that?
Right. So we started out with two homes that were in existing neighborhoods, renovated them, added bedrooms and bathrooms and all of that. And it was a great way to kind of look at what worked, what we would change, how could we make things better. So after we'd done the two homes and built them up and kind of got our feet under us, we thought about what could we do different, or what could make lives better for our residents. And we thought about, you know, one of the challenges is having a purpose, having a reason to get up, or something that you have to take care of that day. And so, you know, I did grow up on a farm, and there's lots of things to take care of on a farm. And so that's kind of where the Prairie Farmstead came from. And so we have the home, which there's lots of things to take care of in a home. We encourage the residents to be involved in cooking and cleaning and folding clothes and sweeping and, you know, the daily activities in the home. On the farmstead, though, we also have goats and chickens and a pig and a duck, and lots of opportunities to have animals to help take care of. And so this spring, if it ever comes, we are going to be adding our sensory garden and also a community garden. So more things that people can be engaged with, that they can take ownership of, and just to have a purpose.
I'm Bob Swartz, and I've devoted the last 43 years to helping Kansans reach their retirement goals and to protect the family farm. At Bob Swartz Financial, we believe everyone should be able to live the retirement they've always dreamed of. Our team of professionals can help you create an efficient strategy using a variety of investment vehicles to help you address your financial needs and your concerns. Bob Swartz Financial values commitment and transparency.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Cygne, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well in their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we're glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Santa Fe Trail Meats in Overbrook. Let us help feed your family.
The old timers say the best thing for the inside of a kid is the outside of a horse. And I certainly believe that. I enjoy horseback riding to the point that sometimes I lose track of time. This poem is called Horse Holiday. I had to go to work, but it was still early yet. A thought came to my brain, and soon my mind was set. I calculated minutes as the morning clock I eyed, and thought, hey, I've got time to get in a horseback ride. It would have to be quick, but I'd miss time on my horse. We'd just been too darn busy to get in a ride, of course. The weather would get hot, all the forecasters say, so it just made sense to ride early in the day. I got my gelding saddled. The day was nice and clear. A great day for a ride and a pretty time of year. I rode on down the lane, went to check the upper pond, and took a Flint Hills trail of which I'm very fond. We lingered in the valley, detoured through the glade, and followed an old path which the cows or deer had made. We enjoyed the hilltop view with its panorama vast, and then I checked my phone. Holy smoke, 2 hours passed. I'd enjoyed the pleasant ride and the morning hilltop climb to the point that I had totally lost track of all the time. I galloped to the barn and unsaddled my old hoss, trying to think how I'd explain this to the boss. I hurried into work to meet the office norm, but they said I had to fill out some type of leave form. There were different kinds of leave from which I had to pick, but it's not like a vacation and I surely wasn't sick. I considered making up some kind of far-fetched story, but instead I created a brand new category. After thinking how to say it in a way they would believe, under other, I wrote in 2 hours of equestrian leave. Happy trails.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
Kansans have a new choice for Medicare supplement insurance plans. With Medicare supplement insurance plans from Kansas Farm Bureau, you have access to 4 levels of coverage, affordable rates, and service from an organization that's served Kansans for more than 100 years. For more information on Kansas Farm Bureau Medicare supplement plans, including rates and to apply, visit kfbhealthplans.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or for more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
The story of Kansas, it seems, could be written in the stories of the widows that its history left behind. And Michelle has a beautiful, poignant story for you this morning. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Deb, and good morning to all our viewers. John Greenleaf Whittier, the American poet, wrote, "On the lintels of Kansas, that blood shall not dry," after he read about the deaths of 5 Free State men in 1858. Let's learn what happened at the infamous Cygne Massacre.
The headlines read of horror, murder, and mayhem. The American poet John Greenleaf Whittier was moved and wrote lines of tragic lamentation. Settlers along the banks of the Marais River in southeastern Kansas were nervous in the spring of 1858. Such was the scene on May 19, 1858, when 11 Free State men were abducted from their homes and marched into a secluded ravine. There they were shot and left to die. Captain Charles Hamilton and his pro-slavery Missourians crossed the border into Logan County and murdered 5 men, including William A. Stillwell. The killing would stun the territory and nation, edging closer to war. William and Mary Jane Stillwell came to Kansas territory from Indiana by way of Iowa. William was a merchant, Mary Jane a wife and mother. They settled near the Marais River in the community of Trading Post. William worked as a teamster and hauled freight back and forth to Kansas City. On that clear May morning, he left on a trip bound for Kansas City. As he lay in the Grim Reaper's ravine, Stillwell flashed the Masonic sign of distress to his killer, who was a fellow Mason to no avail. Hamilton's men fired, and agonizing cries filled the air. The story of the Stillwell family was simple. Man dead, woman left behind with hungry mouths to feed. Buried in Mound City, William in his grave remained unvisited by family until 1897, when Mary Jane returned to Kansas. She told a local reporter, "We were so happy in our little cabin that Will built for me and the children, a one-roomed house, but it was home, and we were together, and hope built air castles for the future." The last morning Mary Jane saw her husband alive, she felt something was not right.
When the children were amusing themselves with their playthings on the floor,
I locked them in and went to work in the garden. Now, I've never been a spiritualist, but about 11 o'clock, as I bent to my work, there seemed to pass over and above me the most mournful wail I had ever heard. Startled, I rushed to the children, and fearing something happened to them, they were still playing where I left them, not having missed me. Oh, my poor Will, and yonder his mangled body fell as near as I could learn at the time I heard the wail. Oh, the days I had to live through, the kindness of strangers, the last look into the dear face, for they brought him to bury at Mound City for my sake. How vivid the memory of it all.
With a gentle soul and great determination, Mary Jane and the children, Josie and Wallace, returned to Indiana. She provided for their every need, including a college education for both. Mary Jane Stillwell died in 1925 in Crawfordsville, Indiana, a distinguished, respected gentlewoman and heroine of bleeding Kansas. I hope you enjoyed today's look at territorial Kansas history, and that you'll join me again for another historical adventure somewhere around Kansas.
Have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for sharing it with me, and as always, I'll see you somewhere around Kansas.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.
The Kansas Wheat Innovation Center in Manhattan is rediscovering ways to get improved varieties and new genetics in the hands of farmers faster. Grower-led and checkoff-funded research initiatives are bringing about positive change. This grassroots leadership provides a strong voice in Topeka and Washington, D.C. Now is the time to partner with Kansas Wheat in moving wheat forward. Kansas Wheat Commission and Kansas Association of Wheat Growers. Farmers investing in their future and yours. Log on to rediscoverwheat.org.
Okay, looks like it's time for our tour. Welcome to the Fort Wallace Museum. Here at the museum, you're going to find some really interesting stuff like our replica stagecoach from the Butterfield Overland Dispatch. We've got facades from the fort buildings. We've got an 1870s flag. There's a plesiosaur that was discovered locally. We've got the Ray pump organ collection. We're a little bitty place with a great big story, and we'd love to have you.
At Farm Credit, we partner with America's farmers who work hard each and every day to grow the food that we all enjoy. It's not an easy task, but it's an important one. Farm Credit is proud to work with farmers and ranchers, lending support in rural America.